Week 4 of the fantasy baseball season. Here's a few hitters I look to buy and trade for this week. The first hitter, Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners. Every season, it seems like he gets off to a slow start, is Rodriguez, and he don't really pick it up till June, July part of the year. On the season, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 17 runs scored, 5 stolen bases, a 188 average, and a 310 on base percentage. So like I said, it's been the norm over the last few seasons here for Julio Rodriguez. I know last year was a little bit of a down year, 20 homers, 68 RBIs, 24 stolen bases, 273 average with 76 runs. But like I said, so far this season, 188 average, one of the worst hitters in the league. But the on-base percentage is still encouraging, over 120 points, higher than his batting average. And the stolen bases, he'll get anywhere from 25 to 30 stolen bases, I believe, is Julio Rodriguez. April 17th at the Reds, 1 for 6, 2 runs, a stolen base. April 18th at the Jays, 0 for 3. April 19th at the Blue Jays, 1 for 3. April 20th at the Blue Jays, 1 for 4, 2 runs in that one. And April 22nd at the Red Sox, 1 for 4. So he's struggling mightily, no doubt about it, is Julio Rodriguez. But the track record, like I said, going off it, he'll get off to the slow start, and then he gets going when it really warms up the weather, even though I know he's in an offense that can't do much over the last couple seasons. But this week, definitely a hitter to buy low. Next hitter, Matt Olson of the Atlanta Braves. Matt Olson, another slow start for him this season. Last year, it was a down year for him, even though he still had 29 homers and 98 RBIs for Olson, where we saw in 2023 he hit over 50 home runs that season. And so far this year, 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, 9 runs scored, a 237 average, and a 376 on base. Of this Brave team is struggling mightily to start the season, 9-14. Matt Olson, he's been struggling as well. He did hit a home run in last night's ball game, and he's got a home run in 2 out of 3 games, so he's starting to break out of it a little bit, is Matt Olson. But this would be the perfect time, I believe, for fantasy owners to go out there and get him, because if he keeps hitting home runs and getting them going now over the last few days, you're going to have to pay full price. But like I said, overall, the numbers haven't been great. But 2 out of 3 games, he's hit the homer. April 18th versus Minnesota, 1 for 3, a run. April 19th versus the Twins, 2 for 3, 2 RBIs. April 20th versus Minnesota, 1 for 3, a homer, 2 RBIs. April 21st versus the Cardinals, 1 for 3, a run, an RBI. And April 22nd versus the Cardinals, 1 for 4 with a homer in that one. So like I said, Olsen, he's starting to get it going. Still, the numbers overall this season haven't been great, but he is definitely turning the corner, and the start of a breakout might happen. So right now, while he's struggling, he's Matt Olson, this is a perfect time to go buy him, because like I said, he's right there breaking out another game or two where he hits a home run or drives in a bunch of runs. It's going to be tough to get him on a discount. Next hitter, Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox. Devers, it's been a down year for him this season, and he started off really struggling the first couple weeks of the year. On the season, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs, 14 runs scored, a 213 average, and a 343 on base percentage here for Rafael Devers. So Devers, he's had to adjust, obviously DH and not playing the field, where they signed Alex Bregman in the offseason. Obviously, he's this Boston Red Sox team. In the last few games, April 18th versus the White Sox, 1 for 4, 2 runs. April 19th versus the White Sox, 1 for 4, homer, 3 RBIs. April 20th versus the White Sox, 0 for 3, a run. April 21st versus the White Sox, 0 for 3. And April 22nd versus the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a run and an RBI. So he's struggling, like I said, is Rafael Devers. But every season, you can pretty much pencil him in anywhere from 25, 35 home run range, 80, 90 RBIs, and a 270, 280 batting average. So right now, well, he's hitting down is his average, even though the on-base percentage is still encouraging and the home runs and RBIs are down. This is a perfect time to buy Devers, because once the weather warms up and it's starting to a little bit on the East Coast, I think Devers, he could pick things up and he could go on a tear, especially obviously in ballparks like Fenway Park, his home park, and in Yankee Stadium as well, in that short porch in right field. Really compared some stats a little bit. Also at Tampa Bay in that minor league stadium. So with all those factors, I think Devers, he could break out as the weather warms up in the next couple weeks here, where already it has a little bit. So he's a buy low hitter this week. Next hitter, Juan Soto of the New York Mets. So Juan Soto, so far with his new team, the Mets have played well, 17-7 on the year. But Juan Soto, his numbers just haven't been there. The only characteristics that have been there for Soto, obviously good eye at the plate, drawing his walks, and he is getting out, but he is hitting the ball hard, and he's only struck out 15 times as Soto in 86 at-bats. I think Soto, he's going to turn things around. He's going to get it going sooner than later, I believe. We saw it with the Padres a couple seasons ago where he was off to a very slow start, finished the year with 35 home runs that year, hit over 260, and I believe we could see similar things on the season for Soto. 3 home runs, 12 RBI, 17 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, a 238 batting average, and a 370 on base. So like I said, Juan Soto, he's struggling, no doubt about it, in the early going, but this Met team to be 10 games over 500 and Soto really hasn't contributed much is a good sign for the New York Mets, obviously. But Pete Alonso has been on the tear where people thought Soto would be putting up the numbers Alonso has. But obviously Juan Soto, his protection in the lineup has made Alonso's numbers go up and he get a lot of good pitches. April 19th versus St. Louis, 2 for 4, a run, and RBI, a stolen base. April 20th versus the Cardinals, 2 for 3, a run, 3 RBIs. April 21st versus the Phillies, 0 for 4, and April 22nd versus the Phillies, 0 for 4 with a run. So I thought Soto, he was going to start getting it going and really picking it up. We had multiple hit games, 2 games in a row, and 4 RBIs in 2 games, April 19th and the 20th versus the Cardinals. But now he's 0 for his last 8. Series ends here today versus the Philadelphia Phillies afternoon game, and then they got for one of his former teams, the Washington Nationals. So I think Soto's going to be fine. Like I said, strikeout rate is low, still not chasing pitches out of the zone, getting his walks, and even some of the outs, especially the last few days, he's been hitting the ball hard but right at him. So I think Soto's going to be fine and get things going, and weather warming up, he's going to start hitting and putting up numbers as Soto. So right now, well, he hasn't done much. My low hitter this week and the final hitter I look to buy and trade for is Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals. So he's off to a very poor start, is Perez, and he's been a 25-30 home run hitter each season over the last few years and hitting anywhere from 260, 250, but so far this year, it's been a way down year. 2 homers, 10 RBIs, 5 runs scored, 190 average, and a 234 on base percentage. So Perez, obviously, he's playing more first base now in the latter part of his career. But last season was still a big year for him, 27 and 104 with a 271 average. And I don't think in one off season he's just going to lose it just like that as Perez. But like I said, he's too good of a talent. First base is definitely saving his knees, obviously, in his body, not crouching and catching every day for Salvador Perez. And I think the bat's going to get going sooner than later. April 18th at Detroit, 1 for 4. April 19th at the Tigers, 0 for 4. April 20th at the Tigers, 0 for 5. And April 22nd versus the Rockies, 1 for 4. So right now, well, he's struggling, still qualifies as a catcher as Perez, and he's been one of the better catchers over the last decade is Perez. He's definitely someone I would buy and trade for because it just takes a couple weeks for him to get going. And we saw it where he could hit home runs in bunches and even a 40 home run season under his belt as well in his career. So that's a few hitters I look to buy and trade for week 4 of the fantasy baseball season.